There are those who like apples.
Boy, that's a beauty. Look at that. Holy cow.
And then there's David Bedford. David knows apples
It's a nice flavor.
to the core.
Afraid that texture's not going to be good enough, though. It's funny because as a child, I really didn't like apples. That was because I was raised on Red Delicious. I like to say I'm a recovering Red Delicious eater.
44 years of apple tasting and breeding, and a senior research fellow at the University of Minnesota Horticultural Research Center at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum. The breeding process starts in the spring.
We only get one chance each year to save the world from mediocre apples.
Eventually, seedlings take root here. Just west of Chanhassen sits more than 20,000 apple trees, part of the U's fruit breeding research program.
Every year we add about 4,000 new trees, and we have the best of hopes for all of them.
Searching for the perfect apple requires sinking your teeth into a lot of bad
That's not great.
and not so bad apples.
In our world, not so bad is the kiss of death.
For 2.5 months every year, a team goes up and down these rows once a week, tasting hundreds of apples. In the early days, David did it all.
Not a great texture.
Then colleague Winford McIntosh
We spit them out most of the time.
joined.
Now we've expanded it to a 4-person team to, I guess, share the pain, you might say.
To find out if it's ready to taste, the apple gets sprayed with iodine. The darker it is, the more starch.
This one is much lighter. That means that starch is converted to sugar.
Trees with ripe fruit get 3 chances.
Literally, after 5 to 6 years, they have 2 to 3 minutes to impress us.
If it fails, it goes. In a normal year, they'll eliminate 3,000 to 4,000 apple trees. While looks do matter,
Find its inner beauty.
flavor and texture top it.
No, it doesn't have our texture.
1 out of every 300 trees or so make it out of the first round and into the second.
The Disneyland of apple breeding over there in second test, it's just magical. It really is.
The second round can take 5 to 15 years. The team looks at about 20 different characteristics, from diameter to firmness.
Push that apple in.
Only 1 of about 10,000 make it to the end.
What we have here is the oldest Honeycrisp tree in the world.
In 1991, it was Honeycrisp.
Honeycrisp just exploded the possibilities. I feel for us in breeding and for the consumer, once you've had that Honeycrisp texture, it's hard to go back.
But let's go back to the beginning. The apple breeding program began in the late 1800s with Minnesota's winters in mind. The goal? To develop high-quality, hardy apples.
If you grew up in Minnesota, you probably knew about Harrelson.
Sweet Tango came in 2008, a cross between Honeycrisp and Zestar.
Still delicious.
The original tree still stands.
It had that perfect balance of sugar and acid and that crisp Honeycrisp texture. We knew we had a winner right away.
Finding a winner takes about 20 years.
That's a good one.
This is a first look at what will be the U's 29th variety.
I can't tell you too much because it's still top secret, but I can tell you that it's a Honeycrisp child. Has wonderful texture, a very fruity, some would say almost a tropical flavor.
$22.49.
After its release, it won't be in stores for another 4 to 5 years.
I am a Honeycrisp girl, although First Kiss is a close second.
Harrelson, because it's not too sweet.
First Kiss, Sweet Tango, Honeycrisp.
These apples don't fall far from the trees, bearing what could be the next big apple.
There are no perfect apples, but some are a lot closer to perfection than others.
There may not be perfect apples,
But let's see what we have here.
but that doesn't stop the search.
On we go.
Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News, Chanhassen.